in the picks and bans for game number 2. Rival again gonna be the first pick selection. That makes some sense since they lost. They get to pick to be first pick this time and try and force Davos into a tough spot, though it didn't exactly work out for them last time. We saw all the top stuff get banned: Merlin, King Arthur, Xbalanque, all taken off the table, and then just left Achilles to be first picked for Predators last time.
And it was a Ratatosker kind of throwaway ban from Rival last game in that first pick slot. This time they're going to ban Achilles in that slot to try and keep that off ban that's relevant, but not one that we necessarily want to take first overall. And Xbalanque, the second ban from Dabo's Disciples. So now you've got Ratatosker on the table. That was banned away last game, as I mentioned.
Right.
But even something like the Fafnir seems like it could be an early pick selection. First seems a bit early for sure, but if Rival just wants to take something for themselves, they know Dabo's values, I think that could have been a good route.
Well, they've got Rapios pick here right away with this Ratatosker. Not surprised to see it. I don't know if the Thor did quite as much as you'd like. I don't know. I changed my mind on it. I think that the Thor was fine. They had the execution onto Predators, or not onto Predators, but with Predators on USB in the solo lane, so it was certainly there. It just maybe the target selection wasn't. So I don't think you necessarily have to go away from it, but Rat is so strong, and that Prot Shed, one of the key differences he has that Thor doesn't, that you definitely want on your side.
Man, same first two picks here for Dabo's Disciples. They go Sol Guan Yu just like they did in game 1. This is telling me that they think that Rival really values Sol. Probably for Davey, I would say, in the duo lane. They're just trying to keep him off of a comfort pick because there's no way that they look at the performance that Fly had last game and go, man, we need that again.
Right.
You know, bartender, can I get one more? Like, there's no way you're really that amped up about how this Sol played last game. It's got to be about a dedicated effort of what Rival have shown you. They're trying to take it away. It just doesn't make sense to me otherwise.
And this could be good. Take this Terra pick away from Switch on Davos, right? So this might help the dual lane a good bit because they are going to go, if it looks like, with the same pick for Davey in this Chronos. So then maybe just taking away this Terra is enough. They'll even have a chance, if they don't prioritize the Jingwei here, to ban that away from Coast as well. But I think they last picked for Coast last time, so I'm sure he's comfortable waiting until the very end.
And Artio, the pick here for Davos. This is good up against the Terra in lane. I imagine this is going to be for Switch. I can't imagine that's going to be Guan support necessarily, though it certainly is an option. Maybe you're waiting to see if this Artio, Predators pick something like Tyr, which is a great pick for him usually, a comfort pick for him, or Hercules. You can kind of shut that down with the Artio in the solo lane, so you can have that flexibility there, but I'd anticipate there's going to be Guan in the solo lane again, and this time Artio in support to try and shut down this Terra that's going to be in the support role.
Well, the Odin banned by Rival again. I remember in game 1 we talked about how that might be a good pick for them to try and stop some of this healing that's coming through. And there is still some self-healing for the Soul and the Ardo, and then obviously the team heal from the Guan Yu. So it could still be strong, but they're banning it themselves as Jingwei comes through for Coast.
Interesting. So Dabos want to leave Colossal's pick to the very end, it feels like, to see exactly where he wants to go and who he wants to kill easily. And that's usually a good idea to see what the enemy mid laner is and kind of get a feeling for what you want to play against them, because that's the most likely target for you in the early to mid game. It's going to be Zhang Kui, so not a lot of gods who do particularly well against it. Nemesis does, however, and she's still on the table. Would make Dabo's Disciples a little bit too slow heavy in my mind. A sprint really shuts them down after that, but wouldn't be a bad call necessarily. Can gank Bellona, can kill Terra, can gank the Zhang Kui pretty well.
They can go back to Inbat here, right, too, for Colossal?
Sure. Yeah,
no
you
reason
can.
Why it wouldn't fit here, I don't think.
I do think it's a little bit worse without Terra ultimate on your side, because Hunbat's ult's so good, it really punishing those people who were just been hit by that Earth and Fury. It is going to be Hunbat's. I think this pick is fine still for Dabo's Disciples, but I imagine that Rival's going to be a little bit more ready for it this time around.
I think so too. It's going to be that much harder to sort of all-in them when they're tankier targets for the most part, and like you said, with that Earth and Fury to help them out. So we'll see if they'll be able to find quite as much success. Rival up against Davos, game number 2, and a chance for Davos to be able to grab that win, or Rival can even it up and we got a game 3. Let's find out though. Tom and Toli on the call.
Here we are on the call, and it's Rival one more time versus, well, sort of a little bit of ex-Rival. And sort of a little bit of ex-Rival getting their revenge. J-Porish Coast, the Juicebox Kid, the Penta Kid, whatever you want to call him. Just don't call him late for a trophy, because he's looking good right now. One win above the opposition. Dabo's Disciples on a tear.
Throwback to the Jingwei. Not having the Terra this time around, it will be the Artio instead. I like that switch up from Rival being able to strip that one away, but still, Jingwei's so safe for J-Porish. He's going to be looking for those purple buff invades again. And it was about 5 in a row until finally Rival made a stand. This time, they need to fight fire with fire, so they're switching up their start to match the support in the solo lane.
Mid lane action. Nah, let's look at the solo lane real quick. Yeah, there it is. That's the new duo, baby. 2 people in solo, 1 person in duo. What the hell's going on? Nobody knows.
I'm glad this isn't happening in my ranked games, because I would just be so annoyed if the supports would be like, just get out of my lane. I'll just 1v2. I'll get some solo farm. It's okay.
That's because we're reaching that point where you're just the oh my goodness, what? The 3-man lockup.
Oh, not like this.
Dinosaur drops the wall, 2 players flank on either side, and you can't move.
The body blocks
You
are
can't
so
move.
real. And Ardio's kind of. You good? Okay, we'll come back to you when you're good. But Ardio specifically, she kind of thick, right? So it's kind of hard for her to wiggle on through that wall. So it doesn't even take 3 people to make that body block a success. But they added a 3rd member, making it even easier.
Just for the added. I can't. What a good play. I want to see that again and again and again. Over and over and over. That's like my ideal play in Smite. Because I'm not sure there was an ability used, but they're not really using abilities. They're just standing there. They're literally crushing you out by existing. There's no fancy gameplay. There's no hit you, in the bullseye. There's no extra crit. It's just I gotta pause. That was such a good play. I need a second to breathe.
That's what they really need to do if they want to get back into this set. Finding kills like that against Switch using those body blocks. It is a very nice play, especially me coming from the Warcraft 3 scene and environment where...
Warcraft 3 surround!
Yeah, like you just get a 4-point surround. That's like the dream. There are some gods, or some heroes rather, there that are so easy to surround that you only need 3 instead of the 4.
Give us an example.
Like Keeper of the Grove,
Ooh.
you could do a 3-point surround on him.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Who else? I know Zapling's Blade Master.
Tauren Chieftain is pretty thick. You can kind of 3-point surround him as well, but you're going to need like also thicker units like Huntresses and stuff like that.
And stuff like that. Yeah, look at that. The old. I was just about to call you old as well because we're talking about this solo lane meta right now.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, get off my lawn. I want my experience. And back in my day, the solo lane was actually a solo lane.
Yeah, seriously. Get out of here, supports. If I ever see a support in my lane,
I'll tell you what.
I'm calling their parents.
Back in my day, we had to walk uphill both ways for picks and bans. Dobson on the thick Zhongqi. Should be an interesting look. Fly one more time on the soul.
Predators on the Bellona with a kill and an assist under his belt. Gonna have quite an advantage now, hitting level 4 against OP USB. Playing the Guan Yu yet again, but this is going to be an issue now with the Guan Yu struggling in the early game. If he loses his blue buff consistently, that Guan Yu might not get to the late game the way he was expecting to in the previous one.
Not quite. Predators and OP USB, only level 2. OP stuck in the fountain for a little bit, and because of that, Team Rival going to go ahead and find a little bit of an invade. Nice job there. Blue buff is ours, says Preds and Rapio. I'm going to walk away.
OP USB can't do anything by himself about that matter. He either gives up his blue buff or he gives up the entire wave in this solo lane. And the thing is, if he gives up his solo lane, he's not ensuring his blue buff guaranteed. So he might as well guarantee at least a farm in the solo lane.
3-on-2 in the mid lane, and Dabo's Disciples don't have the numbers, but they're certainly looking for the fight. Colossal bleeds forward and finds some damage on a Dinosaur. Not as much as he would have liked, and so a little bit of a back off there from the monkey.
It's interesting to see some players' mentalities as to when they take engagements. In that example where Colossal hits Dinosaur, the Dinosaur turns around just to smack Colossal.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because he's going to win the trade, but he's like, yo, get off me, man.
Yeah, like, come on.
Yeah. Like, it's 64 damage from the Hun Bats, and Terra's only dealing, like, about low 30s, and, like, clearly you're not winning the trade. It's like, what are you doing, dude?
Nah, Dinosaur's just like, dude, come on, man. I've been around the block.
Yeah.
You're not gonna surprise me here.
It's like, you're not going to push me without me pushing you back. It's like, who pushes harder?
Well, Hunbats does. The Ratatasker does right here. Pop, pop, but a nice knock-up. Sends Davey and could secure the safety of Switch. Dash forward, and he's good. All because of Vaporish Coast. Gotta give credit to Vaporish Coast.
This set, Vaporish Coast has been on point with his defensive knockups. Every time somebody on his team is in trouble, my man's just looking for the peel. And that's uncommon to see a Hunter be the one to save the support, but that makes a team elevate themselves to a next level when you're able to switch roles in a way where you got to be offensive to defense.
Especially in the early game when you're not really doing it. You're not providing any of the kill. So if you're not providing some help defensively, you're just kind of a liability.
Same thing goes with like Giannis's in mid lane. You don't always have to use those portals for the guaranteed kills. You can use them for safety.
Nice job there from overpowered USB. Quick up down from the ultimate, stops Predators from securing the blue buff with the bludgeon, and then a rotation from his team. No kill, but this guy was previously 3 levels down.
Yeah.
Now only about a half a level down. Does have Rapio in his wings, but I'm sure he's fine.
Predators had an opportunity to use Eagle's Rally right before the stun happened to stun out OP USB after the cavalry charge to secure the blue buff, but holding on to it in case there was a gank happening. And that's a lot of credit that Predators is putting onto Davos because Rapio didn't have the ultimate. So without the global pressure from your own jungler, you might be in a sticky situation. So just giving respect to the opposition is Predators, which is not something he's known to doing.
Not exactly his modus operandi.
Yeah.
You know any Latin there, Tully?
Not too many.
Switch wishes he was anywhere but here. You know how to say that in Latin, Tully?
No, definitely not. I need to brush up on my Latin.
Sugvincis devante.
I'll take your word for it.
My 3 words. Get it? Oh, man. Talking about Latin. Team rival. Living La Vida Loca, huh?
You did not just go there.
Go where? Puerto Rico?
Yes.
Black hats and voodoo dolls.
We could just give you the microphone and you could just start singing the whole
I
time.
literally have a microphone, Tully. There's one connected to my head at the moment. I mean, game's going kind of crazy right now. Team Rival winning game number 2 so far. Davos Disciples won game number 1. Right, Tully?
No, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong in that regard. Finding the first game against Rival. The undefeated Rival. But can they extend it to a set victory? You're just dying over there, aren't you? You can't control it.
Vaporish Coast's problem is that he's playing carry. I would be so interested to see what would happen if this young man was a jungle main. And I'm not saying he should switch. I think that he's very powerful in his carry role. And I think that he has the skill set desired and needed for his position. But it just seems that Vaporish Coast is usually one of the stronger players on his team, on the field, and can't really make the impact until a little bit later.
Ooh, canceling out the overhand smash. A perfect Eagles rally, even though he still gets eaten up a little bit by that ultimate, almost returning the favor onto OPUSB. And I kind of have to agree with you, F-Dot, about the idea of putting Vaporish in the jungler because he does always look for a lot of plays, so that could maybe be a nice, interesting role swap. But in the Hunter position, when you can have a player of Vaporish Coast's caliber to be able to maybe solo kill or at least, you know, pressure, zone, isolate, freeze the wave against the enemy Hunter, you're still enabling your team to do Gold Furies, right? So you can have a very specific style around your Hunter if they can win those 1v1s.
And that's what we saw at Team Rival for a number of years, honestly. Can I use that term? I can. For more than one season, they kind of relied on Vaporish Coast and then swapping out here, looking for Davey instead. Not exactly the same level of prowess, I would say.
Double stun, forcing out the disengage. Switch is going to run away from all the ghosts, even forced out to get the shell. Dobson not going to try to go for the card. for the last hit. The level 9 Zhonghui with a red buff, not enough damage because he's going for a hybrid build, F-Dot, going for the Dynasty Plate Helm.
That's an interesting one. Zhang Kui, usually one of the characters that can actually forgo going some of these defensive items because of his built-in procs, but a different thought process here from Dolson as we look at Team Rival.
No,
Ouch!
He's casting Paladins right now. You said Dolson.
One sec. Ratatasker lands. Oh, lands in the middle lane. Dolson is casting Paladins, you're right. But here comes a jump in from Fear. No, Evil. And Dobson able to get on out of there. Oh, he's referencing our new friend David. He's a Paladins caster, and he's Dolson. But Dobson is the Zhang Kui player. That was, yeah, it was close.
Oh, very close to finding a kill. Predator's still not being aggressive to what we've expected. That Predators like 2 weeks ago is Eagles rallying under that tier 1 mid tower.
Something happened, and you know, I think Predators has gotten into a lot of trouble by being aggressive and slam. Oh, misses! He misses the slam. I think that Predators has gotten in trouble by being over-aggressive and uncalculated. And right there, we see calculated aggression. He goes in at first, then sees everything, gets information who's on the left side, and then doubles back for the kill.
It must have misled Fly, assuming that Predator's ultimate was on cooldown, coming back under the tier 1 mid tower to try to get any farm he can, not respecting the potential tier 1 mid tower dive. And you know my man Predators is going to want to look for that one. Rival, though, going to go for this 11-minute goal here.
And they're going to get it as well. Bing, bing, bang, boom. Team Rival up about 3,000 so far. Nice job. 4-0. A nice little lead here for Team Rival very early in the game, 2,400.
Usually teams that have a lead in the standings, whenever they lose the first game of a best-of-3 set, something clicks in their brain saying like, hey, we're not supposed to lose this set. And then all of a sudden, they make that last game pretend as if it never happened in their next one, or at least their performance in the next one. And that's what Rival have been doing, playing so clean, not giving up a single kill, getting the gold Fury, putting Davos now about 2,700 gold behind.
Yeah, over and over again is how Team Rival are going to be looking for these small victories. Overpowered USB, trying to find safety under the tower. He'll get under the tower. Whether or not he finds safety is a different story. 3 versus 1. Has a little bit of a heal, and despite Dinosaur popping his ultimate, Team Rival walking away empty-handed.
Too many missed abilities onto OP USB. The stun from the Terra, stun from Ratatasker, Root also from the Terra not connecting, and allowing the CDR build from OP USB to just heal himself up even further.
Pyromancer goes the way of Rival as well. USB waddles on over, but nothing to be grabbed there just yet.
Your friends won't have time to help you.
No cavalry charge to try to defend that one.
Your friends won't have time to help you.
I need some help from you, apparently.
Your friends won't have time to help you.
Hindu, if you're listening, help.
No, that's what the Kronos said. That's Kronos, not me.
Oh, I thought Kronos was actually in the building.
No, he's
For a second.
He's in the game. It's not real, dude. He's a character in a video game. How could he be here? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what to say, Anatoly. Gotta come back to Earth. OP USB getting the heals off with the Breastplate of Valor here.
I'm actually crying.
Like the build. Like the build where it's going. The Guan Yu build, as classic as they come. BOV has been in the game forever? Question mark, Tully? Breastplate of Valor.
It's basically been in the game for as long as I can remember. Not many changes has happened to the item throughout its history. But
20 CDR, a bunch of Fizz prots has been, this item has existed for
basically
forever.
Some numbers got altered here and there, but yes, since its inception, and Predators trying to get out of this one with the global pressure from Rappy a little bit off the mark.
But Team Rival looking for the re-engage. Ratatasker gonna miss. Davey on the left side getting, again, just pressured out by Vaporish Coast. What are you gonna do here?
And it's not like Vaporish Coast has a level lead or anything like that, but a red buff versus a purple buff, even in Hunter battles, is enough to win a matchup this convincingly. Also, you gotta take into account Vaporish Coast has Devo gloves, whereas Davey, if he wants to lifesteal, he's got to be able to hit the minions as well, but he's not getting that much sustain from his Bancroft's talent.
Well, he has sustain built into the kit as far as the rewind is concerned. You can
That's
see
right.
right there. He's gaining some HP as well. That's the 12 o'clock. Do you know?
It's the
all-
first tick.
Yeah. Do you know the 4?
Yeah, so the first tick is the health
Health.
regen. Second one, you're getting mana back on your abilities. Third one, you're getting extra magical power on your abilities. And the fourth one is the basic attack.
Hey, Tolfred! Look at that. You read that, Doug.
No,
Doug helped
actually, I
you
didn't.
cheat.
You saw me looking up into the sky, actually.
No, I didn't. I saw you.
did.
I saw you
At the very
call
end, I
Doug
did.
on the telephone,
Oh.
and Doug then sent you a text message.
Yeah, I have him on speed dial.
I do.
We all do.
You know how it's like emergency 911,
Yeah.
right?
No, it's not
and then
911.
and then
It's Doug.
and then information is 411, right?
Okay.
But observation, that's 711. 711. So you can always call Doug by dialing
Yeah,
711.
I'm going to call him right now.
Yeah, do it. He won't answer. He'll be busy.
He just answered me.
No, he's busy. He's
No, he just answered me.
he's being the observer right now. He's doing a
He
good
tells
job.
me he's having a very good day right now.
I
And
hope
that
he
he's-
is having a good
And
day.
that he's enjoying the games in the European region between PlayStation and Xbox.
Are you having a good day today, Doug?
I just told you he said he's having a good day. Why don't you believe me?
Because I'd rather Doug speak for himself. Does Doug have a microphone? I don't think so. It's upsetting. A little bit of lull in the action. Tully and I having some fun with our third caster, as I like to call the observer. Certainly a big part of what we do here.
By the way, that backstory of the Kronos had me dying.
I don't know.
I'm just going to throw that one out
That's-
there. A lot of people in the chat have no idea what just happened there. Well, like with all the voices you do,
Doug sent me a message saying, yes, F-Dot. And that means it's time to fight. Colossal chased out on the right-hand side. Ratatasker in the sky. And Colossal going to be chased out the hard way. I thought the monkey would get out, but he's not going to. Neither will Switch. And Predator staying aggressive as always. Slam, slam, slam. Double kill for the Predator. He might go down here, Toli, but the rest of his team, they're capitalizing. Oni Fury belongs to Team Rival. It's 7-1.
the ultimate sacrifice from your soul laner to ensure the safety of the objective. Thorns used to get the kill in the mid lane just for good measure. Predators as aggressive as always. Rival with a 3-for-1 and a gold fury. Up a considerable amount of gold. And with a tier 1 mid tower to follow, so we might even see a kill in the mid lane. But Vapourish Coast is alongside OP USB.
And Porsche Coast is 4 levels above Dole Dobson right now. Aegis is good for the moment, but the air strike. Number 2 for Dabo's Disciples. Number 2 for Vaporish Coast.
A good play from Dobson, sacrificing his life under the tier 2 middle tower, ensuring its safety for a little bit longer. Did get a lot of chip damage, but with that Gold Fury down, tier 1 tower on the left-hand side, this is a good spot for Rival to be in after losing game 1. Mentally, some teams struggle coming back into sets, but Rival thus far in Season 6 have not looked to falter. Considering that this is their first real test of losing a single game, actually, they've been looking pretty solid.
Pyromancer gonna go down. I was gonna say to Team Rival, and I will say to Team Rival. Colossal a little bit early on the overhand smash. And because of that, Dabo's Disciples will be trailing by a little less than 4,000. Left side, this tower will go down, and that'll shorten that lead just a little bit. 3K, give or take.
It's not looking pretty, I think, for at least Dobson, sitting at level 14 versus Flies level 15, going for the Toxic Blade yet again. But what really helps is the fact that he has more appeal this time around. Dinosaur playing the Terra as opposed to the Fafnir last game is ensuring just more pressure on the Earth and Fury side. It just has so much utility to be able to swing the team fights. Dobson's damage is going to be considerably higher, and maybe that's why he went for a little bit of a tanky build, kind of respecting Colossal's early rotations, thinking that Vaporish Coast might have been making these rotations. And once you get Spear of the Magus, that's like the ultimate power spike curve for Zhang Kui anyway, so you don't need that much damage.
Got to agree there. All of his damage being dot oriented, certainly a reason why you would lean on the Spear of the Magus, so a good look there for him for sure. Right side of the map seems to be the focus for Disciples and Team Rival. Davy's still on the left side, but everybody else has kind of shifted over. Fire Giant is a possibility as we near 20 minutes. And although the Disciples are down about 4,000 gold, you can fight into Team Rival right now. It's probably not great, and you want to make sure that Dobson doesn't have his ultimate. But I think if you mitigate Zhang Kui somehow, and that is easier said than done for sure, this is absolutely a team that you can fight into.
It's going to come down to anti-healing, and Davos have prepared themselves a little bit. OP USB with the cursed Ankh Toxic Blade from Fly. Not really seeing a Pestilence quite yet, as Switch not even building into that. Probably going to be what I'm guessing is going to be maybe Height of Urchin, Mantle of Discord, but they're going to need to worry about not only Dobson's healing, but Dinosaur on the Terra. Davey can use the Accelerate. On the flip side, though, OP USB on the Guan Yu is going to get mitigated by the Pestilence coming out of Predators, Brawler Speed Stick out of Rapio.
Mid-game afoot. Davos, excuse me, looking to close this one. Only down 3K. That's a nice look for them to be in. I'm very confident here that this is a fight that they could take should they choose to. And again, it's really about mitigating what Dobson does. If they can get Dobson kind of alone, force him into an ult, then it's an all-out onslaught for sure.
Fly gonna get stunned out, trying to see if he was gonna use any of those relics. Right, Porsche Coast gonna force out Rapio's ultimate defensively, and Xingwei is such a good poke into that character with a knockup.
Dinosaur going to activate the ultimate, and meanwhile everyone else on Davos is running away. That's that ult from Dobson, just unleashing the demons. Overpowered USB is able to get on out. Now Dobson's ultimate is already gone. A lot of what Team Rival have been expended, and this is where Dabo's Disciples need to strike. They played that well by giving up the Tier 1 tower and not really dying for it. But this fight around Gold Fury is absolutely a fight that DD can take.
Absolutely can, but they don't have the important Colossal ultimate, Fear No Evil, and no global pressure from Rapio using in the left lane. It took a lot to just get that Tier 1 mid tower, but that's a good feeling for Davos, knowing that they can still kind of defend their Tier 2s and their Phoenixes, using their Fountain for the sustain. Might be tricky, though, in the jungle, unless all of a sudden Porsche Coast just casually does 25% of your support's health.
Yeah, just with the basics, man. What are you going to do? The Pentakid just on top here. Gold Fury should just about tie the game. And it's still a 2,500 gold lead, so I'll check myself on that one. But essentially, Dabo's Disciples should feel much more comfortable about taking these larger fights. And you can see right away they're grouping up, shifting to the right side. I don't love Hun Bats on the left, but somebody has to be there.
Yes, the experience is basically cut down to being completely even, and OP USB now going for the Pestilence, Divine Ruin, added anti-healing for Fly, so Dabo's really respecting the healing from Rival, covering all their options, even upgrading the Cursed Ankh is OP USB.
Fire Giant is probably the target location. It's where everybody wants to be around, but not sure where exactly. They're in the phase of calling their realtor. Like, hey, I know the zip code in general. I heard about this thing called the Fire Giant. That's where I want to be. I want to be around it. But I don't know where to go. Overpowered USB says, y'all can have the Pyromancer.
Nice back pedal.
Nice little barrel back step. The Laz's lunge. Yeah.
If Laz's heard that, he would have some words with you.
Why is that?
He invented the backstep.
I know.
So every time he hears Barra backstep,
I know.
you can just see the vein in his neck pulsate.
That's why I said the Laz's lunge. I gave him his credit.
Laz's lunge. That's a good one. That is a really good one, actually. See? Dinosaur agrees.
Ha! Can
Dinosaur
you
even
do
agrees
that?
with it. No, I can't. Can't say that I can.
Can you give it a try?
Nope.
Ha! That was terrible, Toli. Why would you do that? What was that? What was even that noise?
That was
Toli?
me, all right.
Why would you do that?
That's definitely me.
It was you. Now you're trying to cover it up.
24 minutes on the clock.
No. no.
2.4 thousand gold in the lead here as Dinosaur gonna get engaged on with a nice Fear No Evil. Gonna land right in the backline. Rapio off the mark though.
Yeah, Rapio doesn't find a target, and that could be a big difference. Dabble's Disciples now trying to keep their way away from Dobson. Really good job of spreading out, but overpowered USB gets caught up nonetheless. Dobson is done, and now Dabble's Disciples are going to collapse and look to fight. Big damage coming out from Davey, though, and Dobson shuts down Colossal.
The dot's too much for the monkey to handle. 2 quick picks, a 5-on-3 power play for 40 seconds, using the Terra Sustain out of combat, so that anti-healing, not a big determining factor. Fly could be in a little bit of trouble as he has to disap right away. Fire Giant still being thought about, but Rival need to respect the potential reaction out of Davos.
Vape Coast comes back. And just his presence alone, a little bit threatening. Predators on the run. Vaporish Coast trying to catch up. Switch. Not bad. So an all-out cleanup, disengage, and that be that. 23 and a half on the clock, and it's 11 kills. 9 of them belong to Team Rival. They've been considerably in control, considerably in the lead, and considerably clean this game. But as the game has kind of trudged later and later, it's become a little bit more arduous for them, as Dabble's Disciples have found a foothold here, found a foothold there, and all of a sudden find themselves climbing like a goat on a wall.
At this point in the game, previous one, it was Rival losing 3-10. Dabble's Disciple able to end it very cleanly, but this time Rival having a firm grasp of the pacing. They just can't really confirm the way they want to get the Fire Giant quite yet. It is trickier now that it's past 25 minutes, knowing that it's the enhanced Fire Giant. It has way more protections, health, deals an incredible amount of more damage. So if you're only having a 5-on-3 power play, that might not even be enough to confirm this one.
Team Rival around the Fire Giant looking for the kill on OP. Nice backstep there. USB trying to find his way out. Healed up. Nice job. You ever see those goats that climb the mountains?
I knew you were going to reference that again. I'm like, you don't bring that up without pointing attention to it.
like,
Yes, I've seen them.
They're
Yes.
very-
They're very mystical. They live life on the edge. I don't know how they do it.
I just think they're cute. Rapio on the left side. He's going to look for the flank. I'd rather see him almost like in the lane. Completely out of here. Let Dobbles engage. And then Rapio Dobson. Just knock up and unleash the demons. Not going to be the case. But now it's a 5-on-4 as Colossal on the left side of the map doing protecting the tier 2 tower. So Team Rival with a great position here. Forcing the monkey on the left side. And they see him on the map. So they know that he's not here for the fight. Team Rival is going to start these Predators with a 3-man stun, 2-man knockup from Rapio, and all the demons are coming out of the bag. Switch with the full retreat. Fly exists. Team Rival, 4 of their 5 ultimates, 4 of their 4 combat ultimates. They don't get any kills.
They have Colossal to play defense, but Predators is going to keep the monkey in bay. Popping the Mad Guy's Cloak with the Scourge. Colossal trying to get back into it, but this Bellona needs to still continue to zone it. This is the enhanced Fire Giant that deals so much damage. Dinosaur, less than 50% health, and with 3 members in critical red health, having to back to base for Dabble's Disciples, just the presence of the Hunbats alone, scary enough to disengage.
Oni Fury, started by Vape Coast. Dobson waddling on over. Do they have enough damage to secure? Because here's the card, here's the wah. And Dabble's Disciples do get the last hit. Beautifully played again by Vaporish Coast. Oh my goodness. And another strong Aegis. This kid's on fire.
Oh, absolutely. Needing to use that relic to get away from that time rift. A good stun from Davey enables the back from Vaporish Coast. And that's a huge cooldown as well. 160 seconds on Vaporish Coast. Look for Rapio to really try to penetrate that back line and go on the Jingwei in the next encounter.
29 minutes even. Team Rival still with a small 3K lead. Hesitant to call this tied, but hesitant to call it anything else, to be honest with you. It's a very close game for sure. Team Rival perhaps a nose in front.
If I'm Rival, I'm looking for any target that I can with the amount of damage that they have currently. Dinosaur needs to get off the good route, but it seems that OPUSB wants to be the one starting it off.
That's a win. That's a win. Dabo's Disciples, oh my goodness, I love this team. They have played around this Zhonghui ultimate fantastically, and that's why they find themselves only 3K down. OPUSB charge, and all they want is Dobson to hit that button. They only want him to ult. Now all of a sudden, Dabo's Disciples have complete control of the EFG. They're going to look for it and provide some damage, and if the fight comes after the fact that it's only, Dobson doesn't have his best ability to do it. But Dabo's needs to make a move now.
They do. They baited at the Fire Giant, but they don't allow Rival to get anywhere near. So that little power play that they had by forcing out a couple people backing, that just went out the window. So still having to play defense a little bit. That was so clean, the way they were able to just kind of dip their toe in the water and then realizing it was still too cold to go back in. You don't really see that very often in your games.
That is the quintessential way to fight against Zhonghui, Opwash, Zeus, ISIS. In these scenarios can also be translated to siege scenarios. You want to engage hard enough, that's a Guan Yu ult, right? To force the opponent to blow that ult. And then everybody run away.
Yeah.
Just run away.
With the Breastplate of Valor and Genji's Guard, you have 30% cooldown reduction. You can use Conviction on your own teammates to reduce the cavalry charge even further and dash through the enemies if you need to go even a second, third step. And Dobson, no cooldown reduction in his build whatsoever, so a big trade-off for the Guan Yu.
That said, Dobson has the ultimate one more time. So much ado about nothing. Dabo's Disciples just wind up looking like a couple of Montagues.
If I'm Dobson, I'm kind of holding on to my ultimate if that happens again next time, allowing OPUSB to really commit, because with only one sprint for Switch, this Gem of Isolation from Dobson is going to go a long way. Even applying card onto Switch might be enough for some more follow-up, but no one else really close enough.
Colossal still here. Want to see some big Fear No Evils.
That's a good slow. Like, Davey needs to be in position for like a time
That's an
stop.
absurd slow.
It's such a good slow between the card and the Gem of Isolation. Davey playing a little bit too far back. Like, yes, they do have Colossal with the Blink Fear No Evil, but if you know where he is, you can still position yourself in such a manner that you can at least follow up from your mid Zhonghui.
Look at the mid lane, though. The flank from Vapor's Coast and Colossal sniffed out by Rapio. So that won't be coming. Another half fight here. Overpowered USB trying to force out another ult, but his ult will be the one forced out. Dobson, a little bit more disciplined this time around.
Dinosaur looking for the re-engage part 2. Switch now between a rock and a hard place. He's going to get stunned out by Colossus. Ult is coming in clutch.
Aegis is good, and he's going to look for the heal. Not going to find it. Dinosaur falls down. Vaporish Coast again with the kill. Dobson falls as Fly finds another one. Vape Coast over the wall to safety. 3 players in trouble, but heals from Guan Yu will be good. And Rapio looking to back around this wall. Should get it off. And he will. Low is the HP numbers for Dabos, but they have healing. I'm not sure if it's enough healing, though.
Especially with the Fire Giant reducing some of that healing. Predator's going to teleport in the back line. Davey going to be hyper-aggressive. Onto Fly, not enough damage for the kill.
And he's still disappeared. Davey in trouble, and Predator's going to be killed as well. Colossal with the big, fat 2. And Vapor's Coast lets him know how he's feeling. The all-out Deicide 5-0-2 for the young man on the Hunter. And Vape Coast showing us how it's done.
That's Jingwei, man. That needs to be banned away from his hands. Like, and then you ban that away, he's going to be playing the Uller.
See, that's the problem, is that Vape Coast, you did note that he's been doing a lot of these defensive plays, which come from the knock-up, come from the axe stun. At the end of the day, what makes Vapor's Coast so strong is his target acquisition, his target priority. He'll switch targets in the middle of a fight. His spacing, and obviously his accuracy. And guess what, Toli? I don't care what Hunter kit you have, whether it's AMC, Uller, Rom, He can do it on all of them.
So where I was getting to with that is the fact that he'll just come back into these team fights despite getting poked out on the Jingwei better than any other hunters.
That's
so
big. That's
when
big. That's
Rival
big.
is able to make these plays with Dobson leading the charge, carding whoever it is, looking for the poke, going for round 2, Porsche Coast is able to receive that poke, come back in, and now with that deicide, getting themselves about a 34-minute enhanced fire giant. Luckily for Rival, at the very least, Dinosaur was able to respond to defend the left side Phoenix that was about to go down to minions.
Gold Fury one more time, started by the Disciples, who have now wrestled control of a lead. Previously down 3K for the entirety of the match. Woo! That's a roller coaster. 5,800.
It's more like a cliff dive.
Imagine having a roller coaster in your backyard.
I'm imagining it.
Wee! That's me going down the hill.
Oh, okay.
You imagine that one?
Yeah, but in that graph, there was not an up or a
Yeah, there was.
or like a going back.
No, it's like the chain crawlers that be getting.
Yeah, but you're only going down on the way in at the very end, so I'm not getting on that roller coaster anytime soon.
Well, Dabo's Disciples ready to go for it. Because down means up to them. Graph going down
Yeah.
is good if you can get it.
Yeah.
Well, so we'll see. They're still trying to make the climb. Slowly walking in here. Heals again from the Guan Yu. What a powerful selection.
It's so good. Oh, so much MP5 between the breastplate and the Genji's guard. 30% cooldown reduction. These are your 2 core items, and this is the core siege for Davos to find the set victory.
Here comes Ratatasker to start the party. 3 players knocked up, but the Fear no Evil a little bit nicer. Dinosaur! Vaporous Coast again takes care of his old support. Dobson will fall down to the hand of the party monkey, and VC chased out by Davey, but it's all good, because VC's got help, and Fly takes down Predators just like that.
Without the Guan Yu sustain, it's a little tricky now to continue the siege on the left side, but it is a 4-on-2 power play. Rapio and Davey to play defense. Phoenix at about 10% health.
Still here, and I think this is still a fight they could take. Only 2 players. And Dabo's Disciples gonna play it safe. They go back into the jungle and they're gonna look for the tier 2 tower.
Colossal a little bit too low, sitting at 30% health. Doesn't want to risk it. Want to chip away more protections and health from the Titan by getting some of these tier 2 towers. One in the mid, one still stands in the right side of the lane. Rapio gonna get rooted in place there, or the Ankile rather.
It's hard to call the safe play the wrong call. So I respect this. I think that there's a 90% chance that Dabo's Disciples can win the game. Take the 3-on-2 fight with Colossal backing to base, it's only a 3-on-2. Take the 3-on-2 fight, then Porsche Coast wins it, you win the game. But it's a 100% chance that you get a tier 2 tower and the Phoenix. And so I think that is the right call. I respect it. I like it. The problem is, Toli, is that these fight games have become so volatile in the late game. Everything's even now.
Sure.
The Dabo's Disciples had a lead. Now they don't. Team Rival can win one team fight and bring us to a game 3.
I agree, but if Davos plays it off of their fire minions on the left and the mid lane, it's harder for Rival to win because all Davos has to do is wait until the Titan becomes threatened before going for the last Phoenix on the right side and then going for the ultimate end. And I very much respect that play from Davos to wait on that middle Phoenix. We saw LG in a SPL set go for the set victory over Ambitious. I forget exactly who they were against in that set, but you can tell that they had a window of opportunity to go for it. They were a little bit close, but not respecting the respawn timers is when they went wrong. And there's so much footage of not only this season 6, but previous seasons of teams going for ends, miscalculating off by about 5 to 15% margin when they can reflect back off of those replays and realize like, hey, we could have gotten these tier 2 towers, lowering the Phoenixes, lowering it off of the Fire Giant as well. So mistakes were made and lessons were learned.
A lot of different options there. Almost 40 minutes in our game number 2. Dabo's Disciples have control. They're going to look for the Fire Giant. Colossal has sniffed out the enemy Ratatasker. Rat will go to the sky. and Davos will walk away from the Fire Giant, leashing it completely. Rapio's ultimate now on cooldown, and that's going to be a win for DD.
And even Bologna was defending the left side, having to teleport back into the mix, and there's going to be more of a threat on this Titan room, and that's why Davos Disciples are just conceding the Fire Giant area, even allowing Colossal to back to base, get his 6th item, having his Swiftness Potion online. Rival, they can't do anything about this. They have an exposed middle and left side lane to handle.
Interesting to see Rival around the Fire Giant at all. Usually at this point, teams are just going to say, all right, take it. But I think the Enhanced Fire Giant, very, very much a threat. Backdoor protection's just gone. They can walk in and look for the win. But the FG started one more time, already down to 85, make that 75%. And it's burning quickly. Predators from the left side, Davey and Dino from the south, and Dobson here as well. Rapio, no ultimate. There's the jump in from Team Rival, but Dobson's Disciples are able to take it and take the solo laner. Dobson gets Colossal with a good dot and the ultimate coming out strong, but Vaporish Coast carded, and there's the ultimate. Diving to the right for the safety. Immediately jumped on by Rapio. Aegis is strong for the moment. The crits are strong, but Rapio gets the Hunter before he falls down.
3 for 2, still aggressive as Davos. Fly gonna find Dinosaur. Only Davey left standing to play defense. OP USB doesn't have the cavalry charge quite yet, but he's gonna lead the charge with those fire minions, trying to get a 2-0 victory over Rival. It would be their first loss.
Davey, the only player here. He's trying to get it in the way, but you got a ton of minions. You got a Guan Yu. You got some protection shred. You got a soul as well. 20 seconds for Predators to come up, and 4 seconds for the Titan to go down. 14 all, but the win goes to Davos Disciples, and they'll take the set.
A little bit longer, 14-14 as opposed to 10-3 scoreline, but very methodical about how they executed in the late game. Not going for the Titan, getting the tier 2 mid tower, getting the Phoenix, waiting out very safely in the Fire Giant area when they needed to defend the left side of the lane. We saw the rotation from the Bologna teleporting in. Rapio on the north side trying to flank with that ultimate. Couldn't really find the angles that they needed to. And without the Ratatasker ultimate, with more defense needed, that was a free Fire Giant. Finally killing out Vaporish Coast, but his only death of the game. I am willing to sacrifice my Hunter for a Game 2 victory there.
Over and over again, Davos Disciples give the enemy team their first loss of the split. Let's take a closer look with the desk.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Toli. And the set lives up exactly the way that you would expect. Davos Disciples in a close game number 2 close out the set over Team Rival. And you heard them talk about towards the end. Coast ended up falling in that last push.
Sure.
But I think largely, man, that was him helping turn that game around.
Absolutely. I mean, Coast had another great game, and Fly had a much better showing this time
Yes.
around in the Soul. This is exactly what you're expected from Davos Disciples, is the mid and ADC do the majority of the heavy lifting, and then the rest of the supporting cast is doing exactly what they need to do, and that's just supporting those two. I don't think there's shame or saying that they're worse players or anything like that. That's just their role on this team. I think that overpowered USB on the Guan Yu looked very, very good in this game. His healing and consistent frontlining were absolutely critical for this comeback. And this is the perfect scenario in my mind for Davos Disciples, right? Is they crush game 1, look like the better team for sure, and then they're behind a bit game 2, and then still manage to come back and find the 2-0 victory. So they beat Rival 2 different ways, but in two games in a row. And now Rival is going to have to be left to try and say, well, we beat you once. Again, this is the second time technically Davos Disciples have won, even though it won't show on the records because of the competitive ruling.
And at some point, we talked about this in the back room, you gotta wonder how much of it are these carries, right, for Team Rival, because they had that early lead and a substantial one by that means. And if you're going into the late game trying to hand that off to a Kronos, that should work in most cases. If you got him through that early game, and now we're in that point where the passive's only getting better, he's only getting stronger, you should be able to complete that handoff. I just don't know if Davey and Dobson were able to convert on that for this team.
I agree. I mean, just look at the score lines. 3 and 4 for Dobson, 4 and 2 for Fly. 2 and 1 for Davey, 7 and 1 for Vaporish Coast.
Yeah.
Look at the gold differential between Coast and Davey. 6,000 gold.
That's crazy.
That's an absurd number. I mean, Davey, I don't even know how you are down by that much gold at the end of the game. That actually blows my mind. And Davey did a ton of damage still, did actually more than anybody else in the game, but Fly does way more than Dobson. this was just this is where Dabo's Disciples want to be. It's if Coast isn't going to beat you, then Fly's going to beat you. If Fly's not going to beat you, then Coast is going to beat you. If neither of them are going to beat you, then Colossal's going to have a good game. I mean, they've got enough talent here that you don't have to just look at those two. Overpowered USB, Colossal, Switch can all get the job done as well.
And you certainly got to look at them first, though, at the very least. And then you got even more to worry about over your shoulder. So a strong team to worry about.
And for on the other side, I think that Rapio just needs to do more in this set. I mean, he didn't, the Thor game was okay. You first picking the Ratatosker and to be sub 9,000 damage, the same damage, in the same 1,000 number as your support. That's just not enough. You need your jungler to be doing more in that set if you're going to try and find the win.
Something needs to happen a little bit more to try and close off what Coast is doing from someone. I think you're right. Certainly Rapio could be the person that might have needed to do a little bit more. But this is it for Dabos. They grab this win. It's still not enough, though, because of how much of a struggle it was for them in that first half. They're going to have to beat a tough rival team again when they rematch later on if they want to reclaim that spot. Let's take a look at the standings, and you'll see even still Dabos have not caught up to them. 7-1 now for Rival, 6-2 for the Disciples. So Dabos, not only do they need to beat Rival the next time they play, it wouldn't hurt if Rival could drop to someone else. So they might even be some Ricardo and EP fans when those two teams end up playing.
Ooh, looks like EP actually took a victory from Ricardo this week as well in the offline game. So EP on the board in the win column. Whatever it is, it seems like when the top team loses, the bottom team wins and gets their first win. We saw it in the North American SML last week with Armada taking their first loss and Space Station Gold finding their first win. Now, kind of the same here in Europe.
That's right, and some different looks just about everywhere from what we're seeing. So I'm glad that there is that parity between it, at least a little bit, right? Where some teams are able to grab some wins when they've been struggling up until now. But Dabos, I think, very glad to be able to grab this win. Now they've got a tough task ahead of them to keep this momentum going if they want to grab up. Otherwise, it'll be Rival. Remember, they're all trying to make it to that mid-season invitational, and I think we're only taking number one from each region, so you got to be that first team.
Man, it's going to be close. I mean, Dabos Disciples, again, we're in a powerful position. Unfortunately, now they're behind the 8-ball a little bit, but now they control their own destiny in my mind, where if they can win out from here, I'd expect that they would win the tiebreaker and be able to go to LAN.
They should have a good chance for it, but that's going to do it, at least for the European side. We got plenty more North American coming for you, PS4 and Xbox. So go ahead and refill your drink, then get right back here. Plenty more console.
The Smite Console League brought to you by Titan Forge, Hi-Res Studios, iNap, Respawn, SteelSeries, Alienware, and Skillshop.